Okay, so I'm excited to find out this time next week when we land in New York City for New York City Comic Con, which I'm going to, thanks to you, because you bugged me so many damn times about going. If I'm going to be able to go and not get sick.
That's the important part, because last time you went to New York and you came back, and the next podcast I was on, I got sick from just being here with you. You got Aaron sick. The three of us were on a podcast together. You got all of us sick. So it's like we all went to New York, except we didn't. We just got your New York sickness.
Yeah, that illness lingered too. It wasn't like something like a 2-3 day. It hung around for like 2 weeks.
It was rough, man. Con crud is real. Does community ever get con crud? You know, when you go to a convention, you're really close to people. The sickness spreads pretty dang quick. And I think it's the airplane. But I digress, because we have a podcast today. I want to jump right into the show today because we have rumors of Jonah Hill taking on a role in this upcoming Batman film that's going to be led by Robert Pattinson in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, look, we were already kind of all not a really consensus on Pattinson, and now we have Jonah Hill and rumors of him potentially playing the Riddler. That's not definite, but he's allegedly going to play some villain, and Riddler's been tossed around. Not exactly what I would envision my Riddler look like. Not that I can't see him in this film, because he really has had some standout roles, and not just that funny comedian guy only, but really some seriously dramatic positions and characters, and it's been really fun to see him develop as an actor.
He's been nominated for the Academy Award twice. That's important to mention. We were just talking about this with Russ before we came in here, and he was telling us about how he loved the show Maniac on Netflix, which looks really cool, that I haven't checked out, but I think Jonah Hill has the chops. I just don't know if I want to see him personally play the Riddler over some other villains that I think he might be more suited to.
Yeah, I could see him maybe as a Penguin or even a Scarecrow.
Yeah, people are specking on the Penguin as well. That's another character that's been brought up by news outlets. But again, this is all rumored very early. But we did get confirmation that we're getting a new rendition of Jim Gordon.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright is going to be playing Jim Gordon. Has that been 100% confirmed too? Because I'm very excited about this.
All this is still pretty early. You know, safe to say that a lot of these are being, sent out to the community to see the reception, and then, they're going to decide who they're going to bring on board as we get closer to filming. But safe to say, and it landed well with the public.
Yeah, he was great on Westworld. So, I mean, I can see him playing Gordon pretty easily.
I want to hear from the community. Do you think Jonah Hill could play a dope Riddler? I think he has the acting chops. I also personally would like to see Jim Carrey reprise his role. How dope would that be?
The modern day Jim Carrey, I think, has grown and kind of matured a lot since, the Batman Forever days. And I think he could actually kind of do a pretty cool modern Riddler.
What do you think, Comic Fam? Put your answers in the comment section below. And we have more like DC superheroes that are being reprised by actors that we really like to talk about later in the show. But let's tell you about our sponsor of this podcast. We have Key Collector Comics. This is the best comic book app that you can download on either iTunes or Android. Hit the link in the description. Look for the Comic Tom 101 logo on the homepage. And then if you put code Tom101, you get a free week subscription. One thing that'll unlock is key alerts. What are those?
That's when you're going to get a notification directly to your device, letting you know of things you have to know about, especially if you want to stay on top of the comic hustle and just what's happening in the world. Like, we just got a key alert that Ghost Rider is no longer going to be on Hulu. It's being dropped.
That's right. This is big Hulu news. We've been talking about the kind of horror aspect that has been kicking Hulu over this last few months, specking on Werewolf by Night. We're being told about Damien Hellstrom and a Satana series. It's all very dark, very mature content. But Ghost Rider, like, this is the title that's been published time and time again as like the lineup to get excited for Hulu, and they just lost him.
And I don't want people to get concerned, because just because we don't see it on Hulu now, there's still a chance that we're going to see him, because Kevin Feige loves this character. All right, he wants a Ghost Rider, and not just any Ghost Rider, but Cosmic Ghost Rider.
Yeah, it's interesting because both of these characters are rumored to be in Kevin Feige's view here. He wants both of them. Now, I'm thinking there's definitely more potential for one than the other, but there have been rumors that Kevin Feige's been after Ghost Rider for quite some time. So I am predicting that this Hulu drop means we're going to probably see this Spirit of Vengeance hit Disney Plus.
It makes me think about the future of other shows that are Marvel series, but that aren't at Disney Plus. Now, like you've got like Ghost Rider is going to be on Hulu, and you've got like Cloak and Dagger is also out there still, and then The Runaways is still a Marvel show that's not on under the Marvel the Disney umbrella. So I'm thinking all of those shows might be kind of in the mix here too, as possibly kind of coming back home, so to
Ooh.
speak.
Are
if
we
they want to.
seeing these franchises get fractured here? Is this like the early stages of Marvel bringing back all the titles?
Or they could just cancel everything outright, like they did with all the Netflix stuff, like the Luke Cage and Daredevil and all that.
We have seen it before.
Yeah.
And we're going to see it again. I'm pretty sure here. Like, why not? I mean, if you feel like you have this property making money, it feels like everybody doesn't want to leave money on the table for another broadcasting network, and they want it for themselves.
It's all owned by Disney. Who would you want your superhero franchises in the hands of? Kevin Feige's a good bet.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
All right. I want to also give away a copy of Cosmic Ghost Rider. Since we are on that Ghost Rider subject, I don't know. I don't see Cosmic Ghost Rider coming anytime soon because there's a lot that has to happen before we get to here.
They got to establish Frank Castle. They got to establish Galactus and Cosmic Ghost Rider's way in the future. But the fact that Kevin Feige's even thinking about Cosmic Ghost Rider is very exciting.
And this is a character that you all should be thinking about because it's just super dope. And Donny Cates isn't on this list of things we're going to talk about today. So here he goes. So comment down below. Let us know what you think about this news. What do you think about the show? And we'll give this away next week. And let's jump into thedailybugle.net. This is a thing as of Wednesday.
Yeah, this is awesome because Far From Home, all right, is now on video. So to help publicize that, they started thedailybugle.net, which is literally J. Jonah Jameson broadcasting a news talking about how Spider-Man is a criminal, okay? And then other articles surrounding the movie, which is so fun because you think that these are potential hints for things to happen in future movies.
This may just be for enhancing sales goals. Of course it is, However, this is all canon. They are publishing content on the internet for the comic book community and for the superhero loving community and providing like articles on moments in the film that they want us paying attention to. And of course, you have some of the big ones. I mean, right on the main page, you have Jonah Jameson being himself, freaking out on camera and talking about the movie. Of course, like the scenes that have happened in the movie. But there are articles in here that are talking about Hydro Man and talking about how the government's, viewing these potential villains. What does it mean? And I think this is awesome. This is canon. This is actually like more information we're getting from Marvel than Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, how fun is this? I mean, you're taking it directly from the screen and you're bringing it into the real world now. And that's going to be our source potentially for information of what's happening with the characters in the movie. And it's just, I don't know. I think it's something that more publishers, other franchises need to do.
It's kind of interesting that they wrote an article on the Daily Bugle website about the Manfredi crime family and the leader of that family getting arrested in some sort of incident that happened during Far From Home. But if you look into that character, that is Silvermane. And in the comic books, after he went to prison, various other criminals started taking over his empire, and one of whom was the Kingpin. And that's kind of how the Kingpin rose to power, which maybe they're planting a little seed here in the kind of obscure website article that I don't think a lot of, mainstream fans of the movie are going to pay much attention to. So it could be like a little morsel maybe for the real diehards who are going to look into something like this.
So this site, and this is what's so exciting about it, it talked about the Hydro Man. Of all the elementals, it discussed the Hydro Man, okay, which is like, oh, wow, wonder why they talked about that. Is that something we should keep an eye out more for? And they discussed this scene that you mentioned here with the mob. And with the Kingpin coming, potentially, which I'm super excited about because I didn't like the first rendition of Daredevil, I mean, we all get to just imagine what's happening. And this is our news source now, potentially. Here, this J. Jonah Jameson's website here, the Daily Bugle. And what's funny is that Sony put this out, but it was Disney who made the movie, okay? So it's interesting that they put this out on Disney's success, and they're trying to cash in on it. And granted, I'm going to keep coming here for sources and because it's a super great way to do it. But I think it's funny how that happened. And don't forget, now that we're speccing on Silvermane, Amazing Spider-Man 73 is his first appearance. Okay? And so you can take that leap if you feel like comfortable and you want to jump in early. This is as early as it's going to get.
That's right. And then ASM 50, of course, first Kingpin. But again, the Spider-Man franchise, we don't know what's going to happen with this, what directions they're headed. So we're actually going to talk more about what potentials are rumored, for them to be headed, because we need a new villain for Earth. And we're going to chat about that in our after show after the cameras shut off. And that's available on SoundCloud, Spotify, Stitcher, and iTunes.
We have one of the greatest voices to come to electrical device ever. Samuel L. Jackson. Mr. Nick Fury is now going to be the voice of Alexa.
Okay, let's chat about technology here. First off, this is pretty cool. I can imagine households across the country are going to be chatting with their Amazon devices and, making jokes with Nick Fury.
Hey, Alexa, what's the weather today?
What ain't no country I ever heard of?
Alexa, what was that?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you. I double dare you. Say what one more goddamn time.
That's pretty cool. I like seeing Marvel make these kind of strides to do more community involvement, do a little bit more than just the movies, right? We have a news source for a fake website has gone up in the last week. Why not make Nick Fury a voice on a bunch of different devices? But do you use this type of technology?
Absolutely not.
Oh, what?
Yeah,
you do
no.
and you don't. Okay, so I want to know why you don't, Ryan, before we get to why you do.
Terminator, Battlestar Galactica. I could keep going, I guess, but those are the big ones. Those are the big two reasons why I don't mess with AI, at all. Freaks me out. Me typing it into my phone is good enough. I'll still use my hands. If I want to look up a joke, I will look it up with my thumbs.
They can record your text.
Yes.
But they're not going to get your voice.
They're not getting my voice, except for
Except for the hour worth of content that you
we
make every week.
Optionally, provide
to the
choose
internet.
to give to the internet. Yes, you can go ahead and take
you can
that
have
voice.
that one. That's okay.
That's all right.
But
Don't
not.
need to listen to everything that's going on in my living room.
Okay, what about you, Jeff?
I just do to play music. I don't really have anything to hide. So if you're happy to be recording it, that's just a waste of man hours and government money because there's nothing going on.
So you're just asking to play music. What's the weirdest thing you've asked Alexa?
I don't think anything weird, but I do tell it stuff so that I trick my kids thinking that Alexa's watching them. Alexa, reminder that the kids have to clean their room. And she'll just be like, Alexa, we'll just be like, I don't know how to do that. She gets really dumb. But the kids get scared for a second because they expect Alexa to respond and be like, oh my God, I got to clean my room.
What happens if you ask Alexa, what's the weirdest thing I've ever asked you?
Whoa.
Does it keep a record of everything you've ever asked it? Because yes, I'm sure it does.
She's got default answers, man.
Well, on Tuesday, you asked this. And then it tells you the most embarrassing thing you asked on Tuesday because you forgot.
That'd be good. I mean, I can literally ask Nick Fury, hey, Nick Fury, tell me a joke today. Hey, Nick Fury, what's the weather like today? Hey, Nick Fury, what happened in history 10 years ago from now? I mean, it will be really fun to hear that in his voice.
And then you can develop a relationship with this. He can be your friend if you don't have any friends. Just kidding. Just kidding. You can't do that. This is Terminator, dude. This
right.
is what's going to happen.
It's going to kill you.
It's all right.
Alexa will probably kill you.
Well, are you going to download a Nick Fury Alexa? We want to know from the community in the comment section below. And actually, let's jump into viewer comments when
That's
we hear
nice
from
and
the
safe.
community.
Let's do that. Let's do viewer comments now. This comment comes from Gotham City Comics. Guru's hand modeling career was cut short by Mylar.
Yeah, that was good. I like that comment. That's
True
great.
story.
I think we need to do a test because I still don't get it.
Okay, so we talked about this on the show last week on the top 10, because the Guru, his cuticles, they get injured regularly when he's on the job and he's on the hunt. He's, this guy, when he goes hunting, he's got elbow pads on. He's got the face mask that you wear in basketball. That's what he wears when he's going through comics, and
Your sporting gear references are just killing me, man.
I know, I'm thinking of what sporting gear exists right now.
Yeah,
clothes.
the face mask that basketball players wear. Really?
right.
Basketball players wear face masks. Okay. I'm not like Bill Lambier here.
But
with
explain
elbow
it.
pads, mouthpiece. No,
Ryan's like, I tested. I went to my Mylar and I touched it and it didn't cut me.
It was softer than my normal comics. So I need to know what these people are doing with their razor blade Mylars or whatever that
They're
they've
like,
got.
why is this cutting me?
This doesn't hurt.
it's a trick. I'm telling you, Mylars are inviting. because when you just rub your fingertips on top, it's nice. And you're like, and it's just flickety, 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 flick.
I could do that all day.
But when you have to get in there and actually sift, especially in a tight box,
You're going quick, right?
you're
Speed,
like this.
speed.
Your fingers have to get in there enough, and every time you flick by one, it's like flicks right back up into your finger, and eventually you bleed.
That's how you know a rookie versus a professional.
Yeah, if it doesn't hurt, you're not going fast enough.
Yeah.
Correct. Moving on. Raven Homicide says, I was one of those little kids. I called 31 times, rang up an $18.50 phone bill. I was 9 years old and got my ass beat.
Interesting. Didn't know you had to pay to do the vote. And it would make sense you would.
Jason Todd phone call to kill Robin thing.
Yeah, we talked about it last week, and I wonder how much money they made from this. I mean, because this is a monumental event. You know, this is a big deal. Got big community involvement. Of course, they cashed in on it.
Do you remember when we were little and you were playing video games, and in the back of the instruction book they were like, if you need help, you can call this number for like $3 a minute and get some guy who will tell you how to play the game. And I always wanted to try calling that phone number, but my dad was like, don't you dare call that phone number. My dad was one of those people who would say like, close all the windows, close all the doors, because we're not paying to heat the neighborhood, or make sure you turn the lights out of every single room you're not in, because we're not, why are you paying money to turn the lights on in a room you're not in? So my dad exactly would have been one of these people to yell at me for calling to kill Robin.
You got to unplug your refrigerator before you leave.
That's right.
Yeah.
The cold is already in there. You don't need to generate more cold.
And speaking of when you were a kid, we did find this picture of
yes.
you dressed up as Batman. We missed it in time for last week's show, but shout out to Miss Sargent for finding this amazing picture of Ryan.
Thanks, Mom.
This is pretty good, man. I enjoyed that.
It's me and my brother as Batman and Robin, you know, protecting the neighborhood
Shout out, Zach. Thanks for the Dundee.
and everything else. Last comment from Daniel Woodhouse. I can't get the words Guardians of the Galaxy out of my head. It's been a month.
For real.
was
No,
a
it's
good
good.
one.
Yeah, it's a good one. And the whole GIF, that stemmed out of the GIF versus GIF debate. And there were members of the show that riled to my defense because
GIF?
apparently GIF was the creator of the word has gone on record to say it is GIF, not GIF.
He's wrong. He created it. He's wrong. He's still wrong. It's a GIF.
Okay.
I still laugh about that. I really do. Just the Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, it's true. Like, literally, it's been a month plus, and I'll still every once in a while pop in my head laughing
It's funny.
about it.
Whenever I think of Guardians of the Galaxy, that's what I think.
But we should talk about Smallville.
All right. All year, there's been rumors that Tom Welling was going to reprise his role as Superman, that he was going to don the cape again for the first time in over a decade. And he low-key played it off like it wasn't going to happen. We were expecting it to happen. And now, as of this week, we have it confirmed. But this isn't the only person coming back.
So the Arrowverse shows are doing a Crisis on Infinite Earths crossover later this year. They're going to be crossing over every single show that they have right now on the CW, like Arrow and Flash and Legends of Tomorrow and Supergirl. All of these shows are going to be crossing over in the biggest event that they have done so far.
So another person from Smallville, outside of just Superman, we're going to get Lois, of course. You can't have Superman without Lois. So you got Erica Durance as well. And we actually get to see Black Lightning now crossing over for the first time into this big event, which he hasn't done yet.
Yeah, you know Chloe isn't coming to the screen.
Ooh, topical.
No good.
Nope, that's not good.
Yeah, look that up if you want to go down
That's a whole thing.
Pretty
That's
dark.
dark.
Yeah, pretty dark. Anyways,
Kevin Conroy is more importantly going to be in this show, the voice of Batman in all of the animated stuff since the
dope
Batman
is that,
animated
dude?
series. He's going to be a
What?
live action Batman in this show, which is going to be crazy cool. Like
That's
they're pulling out all the stops here. It looks like, and since it's an alternate universe story, I mean, you can expect to see kind of different versions of each of these characters. So I wouldn't be surprised to see another Batman maybe popping up in here. There's already going to be like 3 Supermen in this crossover.
we got
so-
Tom Welling.
Right.
And then you also have from Supergirl.
Right. Yeah. Tyler Hoechlin. I
Yeah,
don't know how to
Tyler
pronounce
Hoechlin.
it.
And then you also have Brandon Roth, who is currently Adam, but he's going to be putting on the cape as well for the first time since he did the Superman films.
Right, yeah, he was Superman back in like 06, I think, with Kevin Spacey.
That's
Also-
right.
Also, probably won't be reappearing in this.
Very
in this
true.
crossover.
Also not going to be in the crossover. However, he's going to be taking on the role as like Superman from Kingdom Come,
Right.
which is pretty exciting. But someone else isn't going to be reprising their role.
Yeah, like this is a huge event. Always, every year they have some type of crossover event, and I love those things. I do. I watch The Flash religiously, so it gets me to watch this event and all the other subsequent episodes and the other titles. But who doesn't want to do it, despite how big it is Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor for Smallville.
Yeah, they tried to get him to come back too, and he wouldn't do it.
I really can't fault him for this, because as much as fans as we want to see him, in reality, they gave him no script. They called him at a terrible time when he was at a nursing home with his grandfather, okay, and practically no monies, and they had to know like immediately. So for him, he was just like, meh, I'll pass. You guys are just going to cash out on whatever I do and basically throw me no respect and just demand on your terms something. He's like, forget about it.
I feel like you got to at least have maybe an outline of what the episode's going to be like. You know, if you're going to make an offer to somebody, like give them something to go off of.
It sounds like a lot of this was last minute.
Yeah.
And they're demanding it like now, like.
It would be kind of cool to get the reunion, you know, of all the actors from that show. But at the same time, I can understand as an actor's, you know, from his perspective, like why it's not necessarily a sure thing.
Let's chat about oversaturation. Bleeding Cool posted this article called Marvel has no plans to scale back Wolverine oversaturation anytime soon. Got me thinking about Wolverine, who's been a subject of conversation multiple times in the last few weeks. Very hot character. Everyone loves Wolverine. Wolverine's been dead for a couple years, but he's been in more titles than ever.
I like Wolverine. If it's a good thing, because I think Wolverine is a good thing, and so do the fans. I think that's why we're seeing him as much as we are. I guarantee you there's people who don't, obviously. But, sorry guys, like the majority are going to win this. We like to see Wolverine. They love the character. I'm okay with seeing him in more stuff. If it wasn't good, if he was not doing a good job, he wouldn't be in so many comics. You know what? This is like the SNL skit with Christopher Walken, okay? Like more cowbell, more Wolverine.
Is oversaturation a thing?
It's definitely a thing.
Only when you suck.
People have different tolerances for, you know, the amount of a character being good or bad. You know, I think Wolverine is all over the place in a bad way. You could kind of make the same argument for Batman, and I would also agree with that. I like Batman more than I like Wolverine, but I think both of them are too exposed.
I still think it depends on how you have that character presented. I mean, if it's not done well, then yes, you're oversaturating a market of bad writing with more bad writing, and that's why you don't like it. But if it's good and the stories are like, you like Hawks and Pox, right? You like House of X and Powers of X. Do you not like Wolverine at all in that?
No, he's good because he's part of the team. That's always been my main stipulation with Wolverine specifically, is if he's good as part of the team, then I'm cool with him. But if he's drowning out everybody else like he did in the movies, that's my biggest beef with Wolverine, is how the movies became the Hugh Jackman show with, you know, Patrick Stewart also.
But when you ask people, they love Hugh Jackman as the casting for Wolverine.
Sure, it was a good choice of casting. I just think they should have. It's a team. It's supposed to be a team story, and it's always been Wolverine and the X-Men, which is a comic also.
I'm of the opinion that there isn't enough. That for as much as we can complain about oversaturation, there needs to be more, and more. I want to know why Logan doesn't have a Twitter account that's regularly posting about stuff he's doing in comic books.
Wolverine would be the last person to get a Twitter account. In the story, I feel like Wolverine would hate Twitter. Like, he wouldn't have any part of social media at all. Like, he doesn't seem like a Twitter person.
Figuring out a creative outlet that gets the character in the community more. Maybe give him a freaking Instagram account. I don't know. Something. We should be hearing from Wolverine more often than the random one-shots he does.
Wolverine just needs to get a publicist. That's it. He doesn't have to do any of it. Just talk on his behalf. You know, throw out some hey bubs every once in a while and snickety snicks, and we're good.
Just in general, I think the publishers, Marvel and DC, need to be doing more to get micro content out there into the community. We can't just rely on big box office movies that need to be a hit, mind you. They have to be good, because if they pull a Dark Phoenix, great, goodbye to the franchise for the next however many years until they decide to redo it again.
I think that Spider-Man website story had a really big impact on you today, because that seems to be kind of like the underlying theme. Like that is a really cool way to push, you know, a movie or a plot or an upcoming event that they want to do. And it's cool to see that sort of next level marketing come into play.
You can't just rely on DCates to fulfill the marketing plan for your Marvel comic books every week.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense, because that's just one avenue, one place that specific group of people are going to go look for a comic book. But if you want that character in a different platform or in a different manner, because maybe you don't want the comic books, but maybe you like the characters and you like the movies, so you don't read comics. but you still want to be exposed to them, this is another way to get exposure.
Wolverine video game. I'd be all over that if they made a Wolverine video game.
Let's chat about video games in the after show today.
That's
Video
a good
games
idea.
Definitely have provided a big impact on my life, and I know it has on your guys' lives too. So we're gonna chat about that in the after show, along with some other spec talk. Not before we talk about Benji Riley.
We're discussing young Parker again this week because last week we said that Spider-Girl 59 was his first appearance. But there is some talk that a Ben Parker did show up in the Last Avengers story #2, a comic that came out in 1995. It was really actually nicely and beautifully painted and illustrated. It was a two-parter. Number 1 and 2 are both pretty violent books. I mean, 1, we literally see Hulk ripping Tigra in half. I mean, we're talking violent.
Out of continuity, and this was not depicted as a character for another decade.
Exactly. And no matter how far back it is, though, I'd be interested to know the community if they feel this is a book that needs to be spec'd on. Though it is Ben Parker, and it's a completely different continuity than the Benji Parker that we know what Spider-Girl is in. Is it something that you're going to put your money towards? I don't think I would, because it's such a small little portion of a character that, like we mentioned, isn't the same reality as the other.
Yeah, he gets further developed way later. And keep in mind, all this happened because of the success of What If 105, when Spidey Girl actually took off with the community and they gave her her own run and her own timeline. And that is a very, very important point to this whole conversation, because Spider-Girl as a comic book, it was loved by the fans. You'd be hard pressed to find other comic book runs that were coming out at that time with that kind of community support. They tried to end it. Fan support, outcry came in. They kept it going. It went clear past 100, and then they tried to cancel it, and then it got revamped again. More issues, more issues, more issues. People loved this run. And the fact that Benji Parker has his first, baby appearance in it, that's part of the reason why people are looking at this as the first appearance.
Sounds like a real first thing to me. Like, if you want to spec on this, you want to jump down that rabbit hole, then go ahead. But for me, I'm gonna not. I'm gonna stand back and just kind of let it happen.
It's definitely a conversation that will never end.
What we need to talk about is this costume.
Oh, so you guys wouldn't let me
Yes.
get through this subject without talking about this. But okay, let's
talk about the
let's
costume.
chat about this. All right, so we have J.J. Abrams and Henry Abrams putting out new Spider-Man, right? And the first few solicits that have come out, straight up lies, trying to send us on different paths of what's going to happen, keeping us guessing. Well, now that the solicitation for issue 4 is out, they've dropped the semantics, they've dropped the lies, and they're saying it how it is. Actually, the first line of this solicit is, now that issue 1 is out, can we finally talk about this? So this was on their minds for a long time. We got to surprise the community, hit them with the right hook, get them super excited about this new Spider-Man. So we have issue 4 being solicited. Cool looking cover. I like the color work. The Spidey suit looks great. But we also have a variant cover that apparently is being listed as the new 2020 outfit. And how bad does this look?
I think they should have kept this a little bit more of a secret a little longer.
They should have surprised us. Okay, so let's just tear this apart, because this is no good. This is a problem. Ryan, you thought this was a joke.
I did. This looks like every bad 90s trope mashed into one comic design.
Shout out to whoever's handling the Photoshop with that nice outer glow.
It's like a Green Lantern force field. Just
Yeah.
kind of just around him.
I think he's going to go
He's in
Saiyan
space.
here. He's going to go Super Saiyan in just a second.
I don't know how I feel about Spider-Man without a cap. Like, we were all talking about the Flash getting his cowl back in the Arrowverse and how fans are super excited to see that happen again. But this is a Spidey without a cap. So it's just his hair showing, his ponytail is showing.
Yeah.
And what's with the gears?
He's got the weird knee gears, and there's one on his back.
He's got 2 on his back. He's got one on his butt, one on his back.
Yeah, well,
Each kneecap has 2 gears. Like, is he going to start?
he looks like a transformer. He's got a vehicle form also that he can change
He's
into.
going to turn into a bike.
Something. There's weird mechanical, almost Iron Spider looking legs on the back, but they're not as cool.
He's about to roll out. No, no, but seriously, I mean, you're right. You look at this, and it's just disgusting in so many ways, because he's got a man bun. Why Spider-Man has a man bun, I have no idea. And then
That's
why are
going
we
to
even
stick
seeing
around.
it?
It's the future, man. That's going to be in the future. Man
Yeah.
buns. That's it.
That's it. He looks like Pitt with his haircut. Okay, meets Doc Ock meets like Gladiator from Daredevil with the saw blades.
With some steampunk kind of like no sleeves also.
With
look
Gwen
that he's got.
Stacy's shoes.
Oh my god. What is going on?
And like his costume has like circuitry lines on it instead of web lines.
This is like the Iron Spider.
I don't know what is going
1.0.
on. This better be like a one shot. This better not be like an ongoing look for him.
I hope this is a joke.
I don't know.
Comic fan,
I
what
want
do you
it.
think?
I want this variant.
Now you want the variant?
Right?
Do you want this variant, comic fam? Let us know in the comment section below. I think this is. I legit didn't. I was like, wait, there's a new suit, and I scrolled. I'm like, oh, that can't be it. And I think that's it. I think that's the new suit. That's not good. But we want to hear from you, comic fan. Maybe we're crazy. Maybe this is the future.
I need a variant to that variant because that's just terrible.
I want the action figure. I want it real already.
As long as the gears move.
It needs to be right here.
Which one? All of them?
All of them. I want all the gears to move at the same time. How heavy
Moving
of a
on.
suit would that be, by the way?
Oh my god! Could you
Imagine the weight. Like how much. Anyways, we'll keep it going. It's been a year this week. We got to talk about DC Black Label.
Yeah, it's been an interesting year for this kind of imprint, this DC imprint, where they announced Black Label, DC Black Label last year as like a place for out of continuity kind of almost miniseries. I don't think any of these comics on the Black Label are ongoing. They're miniseries. They're shorter. They're supposed to be more raw and powerful and like mature than you could get in the main DC continuity. And the very first comic that they started with Black Label was Batman Damned #1, which of course everybody knows for the certain piece of male genitalia that was in this comic that kind of sucked all of the attention off of an amazing story, and that's all people focused on. And DC kind of got scared, I think, a little bit by that sort of backlash and kind of pulled back on the promise of Black Label, and now everything that's kind of come out since has felt a little neutered.
Yeah, the hype was real. You know, we were really excited when this dropped. We all went page by page of Batman Damned
feel
on
something when you're reading it.
Tuesday, man. We were excited. We dropped a
Yes.
video that night. And aside from the promise of a certain amount of titles, because we saw delays. I mean, the Joker story had a 6-month delay.
Yeah, there's a 3 Jokers story that they announced when they started Black Label, but I don't think it's happening, or it's delayed indefinitely or something. It's not really on the radar.
Who knows? No one cares now. And Wonder Woman canceled.
There was like a standalone Wonder Woman story they were doing. They've been doing a Superman Year 1 with like Frank Miller and John Romita Jr.
That took over
It's oversized
a
for no
year.
reason, if you
Yeah,
ask me.
Way too late for that book, and it wasn't even super exciting.
It's yet another Superman origin comic, which is good, but it doesn't do anything different really. And Harleen actually just dropped today as we are recording this. It is the most recent Black Label series, and I loved it. As somebody who really does not like Harley Quinn at all, that is the kind of comic I want to be reading to kind of change my mind. And I haven't felt that Batman Damned feeling about a Black Label comic since Batman Damned, as I have with Harleen today when I sat down to read that.
Not a whole lot of titles have come out.
Yeah, they put out Batman Last Night on Earth also with it's kind of like the conclusion. It's almost like an Old Man Logan for Batman, but with Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, kind of like the end of their New 52 Batman run that they kind of started.
With Vertigo ending, I'm surprised to see not a whole lot coming from this run. I was expecting to see double, triple the amount of comics that they just want to throw that Black Label on and let the content creators run mad. Let's see it happen. Let's see some unique storytelling. We were promised more things like The Killing Joke.
Right.
Comic books that make impact. Comic books that make you think. Comic books that make you want to pay double, triple cover price because the thing feels nicer.
Yeah, it's definitely you can tell. Even the like Last Night on Earth, it's not as big as a Batman Damned or a Harleen, but it feels
Yeah, that prestige format.
right. Yeah, and now this Harleen book is a good kind of return to form, I would say, for the Black Label, and I'm hoping moving forward that they can kind of keep up that momentum that they're, in my mind, starting to get back.
What other titles would you like to see hit the Black Label?
I'd love to see an Aquaman Black Label.
That'd be so cool. That would be so cool.
So, see, wouldn't that get people to go to the shop and be like, oh, yeah, I need to read this? It doesn't matter if it's Aquaman. I got to read the mature version of The King Beneath the Sea.
Like a Swamp Thing Black Label comic could be really cool and dark and gross, especially.
Where's like the Hellblazer, man?
right?
Where's Hellblazer? Like, why isn't that a run on Black Label?
He was like the secondary character in Batman Damned. He was in it.
I'm glad he was in it, but Vertigo's no more.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Give him a Black Label title. Give some people, 3 comic books, 2 comic books, and let them try to write something dope.
Yo, big shout out to Tobias Bentley. You just won Marvel Comics 1000, sound by Rob Liefeld. And looky, secret prize.
That's us.
Walking Dead Milky Comic
Milky
exclusive.
Comics, woo!
Looky. Thank you so much for watching the show, Comic Fam. I should probably do another giveaway because we do have the Cosmic Ghost Rider we're sending out, but we are going to give away something from the set because
Got to give one of those wall books away.
I think the community likes it, right?
Been a while.
I'm
pick
going to
something.
pick out this one. This one's signed by Eric Larson, Savage Dragon #1. If you've never read Savage Dragon, please read this issue. Don't keep it in the bag because this is a book that needs to be read. It is so good. Also, we're going to be at New York Comic Con next week, so we are not going to be doing a podcast on Sunday. We're likely going to be filming something special for the Comic Fam, a New York Comic Con exclusive. You got to download Key Collector. They're making everything possible over here. Code TOM101. When you go to that home screen, look for the Comic Tom logo. You get a free week subscription. Unlocks a ton of great services that's going to enhance your collecting. Also,
Come see us at booth 2414, Silver Age Comics. Gus is out there, and he's got a store out there as well, but that's what we'll be hunkering down
at New York City Comic Con.
at New York City Comic Con.
Also, you've got the October Mystery Mail Call. The deadline to sign up for that is October 15th. We've got our exclusive variant for this month is going to be for Show's End #1, which is a cover swipe of the first appearance of Wonder Woman from All Star Comics.
Link in the bio to join the community. We're actually going to be hunting for comics for the Comic Fam at New York City Comic Con. So we're going to be sending out the first batch of October orders a couple days after we get back.
Stay tuned for this audio portion, and as always,
Geek responsibly.
Enough said.